Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope all of you are doing well tonight. I have a question, and I've still not got my answer, ladies and gentlemen. I asked the same question in my last match review. I'm sat here after just finishing watching Real Madrid versus Chelsea in the first leg, and I still haven't got my answer. Where are the vibes? I still have not been given any vibes, ladies and gentlemen. I can't locate any vibes. Not even vibes. Vibe. Just one vibe. I want one vibe. Can I get one vibe in here, please? One. Just one. I just want one, and then I will be done. I'm not going to get that. You're not going to get that. Chelsea lose tonight 2-0. And look, we have to be honest. Like I said to you guys here, don't expect anything. Don't expect anything. This is the norm now. this is painful, man. But this is the norm. This is the norm. We expected this result. I think most people did anyway. Earlier on, prior to the game, I understand, right? Fans are fans. I feel it too. I'd be lying if I said before the game there wasn't a part of me that was going, come on, Chelsea, come on, right? There always will be. That will never disappear. Even if we are in the depths of hell, right? And we are trying to get a result and we look like we are completely out of it. We've got no chance. There's always still going to be that little bit of, yeah, what if? Come on, you never know. No matter what. But there's faith and then there's blind faith, which equals delusion. The amount of people that I saw earlier on before the game on socials speaking like, we're talking about 2012 Chelsea here or something. We're talking about Lampard who's actually going to be playing in central midfield today. Drogba's going to be up top. Or are we going to play the same way we did when Tuchel was there and we won the Champions League? Like, there's people that have this thing that, because we are Chelsea and the name is Chelsea, we're therefore going to play like how we did back then, no problem. Like, no, that's not how it works. And you're playing Real Madrid. There was only going to be one outcome. It was obvious. Faith has to be there, but faith comes with evidence. You need both. If you ain't got both, if you've just got faith and there's no evidence, it's blind faith, it's delusion. So when I come out and say, no, look, I just don't see it. It's not happening, right? And then not just myself, quite a few others get called, oh, you're negative. You go and support someone else. No. I want the best for my club. I want the best for this team and I can see where it's heading. It's obvious. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to see and understand where it's going. This team is in tatters. This club is in tatters right now. It's a mess. It's a mess. Anyone actually thought we were going to rock up to Real Madrid and pick up a win? Wow. Wow. But that goes back to my point. Delusion. Blind faith. Blind faith. Faith comes with evidence. For you to have faith, you need to know that there's evidence there to show that you are heading in the direction that you want to be heading in and you have the faith that you're going to get there. They come together. There's nothing. Today's result is flattering. That's crazy for me to say. I'm coming on here and talking about Chelsea losing 2-0 and I'm saying it's flattering. It's flattering. Todd Bowley before the game. Let's talk about Todd. Because he had dinner with Florentino Perez, didn't he? He had lunch. Sorry, not dinner. He had lunch with Florentino Perez. Chelsea board and Real Madrid board had a nice meal, right? As Todd liked to say when he came out. Wonderful meal. Great food, right? It's become a meme. And then the journalist asked him, not just the El Chiringuito journalist, but even Sky Sports, Gary Cotterhill, asked him, what's your prediction? Chelsea win. All right, fair enough. He's not going to say Chelsea are going to draw, Chelsea are going to lose. That's, of course, he's one of Chelsea's owners. He's going to come and say Chelsea win. Of course, right? I get it. What's the score? You expect him to be a bit realistic, right? No one's stupid. 1-0. 2-1, all right, no problem. He comes out and says, 3-0 Chelsea. What? 3-0? You're saying this publicly. This is why Roman Abramovich never spoke to anyone. In all the years he was at Chelsea, we never heard him speak once. The only time we heard him speak was when he was talking with Oren Tully, who passed away a few years ago, if you remember. Little Irish lad who had an experience a day at Chelsea with John Terry, and Roman Abramovich came and answered the question of his, obviously a few years before he passed away, right? They'd done something nice for him. That was the only time I heard Roman speak, right? Only time we heard his voice. There's a reason. And if you're going to come out and be public, please remain professional. To come out, 3-0 win to Chelsea, just again, blind faith. It's blind faith. And when you're looking at that from a fan perspective, okay, I get it. You're a fan. We all have our moments where we go, nah, we're gonna do it, right? We're gonna do it. Right? It's normal. That's what fans do sometimes. It happens, right? It happens. Still can be blind faith, but it happens, right? But to hear it from one of the owners, where you just throw any professionalism out the window. Nah, 3-0 Chelsea, yeah, lovely. You're playing Real Madrid here, not Scunthorpe United. And at least if Chelsea were top of the league, if Chelsea were playing like how Man City are playing, or even if they're playing like how Man United have been playing, okay, you're coming in with that extra bit of confidence, no problem. But to come in after the form that we've been on and just say publicly, 3-0 Chelsea, now you look like an idiot. Because it was obvious this result was going to happen. It was obvious. Unbelievable. But as for tonight, everyone in the gutter. Everyone in the gutter. Everybody, man. Everybody. Where do I start? Where do I start with tonight? Because as I said, it was flattering. It was flattering. Real Madrid could have imposed a lot more damage if they wanted to show up. It almost looked like they didn't come out of second gear. This is why I'm saying it's a flattering result for Chelsea to come away with a 2-0 loss. Realistically, that should have been 4 or 5. Realistically. Chelsea, in the first half and onwards, slow, constantly, needlessly giving the ball away for fun. We set up quite defensive. I understood what Lampard was trying to do at first, but then it didn't change. Lampard set up with a 3-5-2. In my preview, I went with a 3-4-3. 3-5-2, to an extent, on paper, I understand, right? 3 in the midfield to try and outnumber Real Madrid's midfield. But what did we see after the first 10, 15 minutes? They were bypassing that midfield for fun. For fun. And then we had nothing up top because their extra man that's normally up top was taken away, plucked into midfield and still being beaten. So now when we try to launch a counter-attack, it's just whack the ball up top. There's one man that gets it. He runs. There's no one to support him. Hope for the best. We showed Real Madrid what we were going to do after 5 minutes. 5 minutes into the game, it was clear as crystal what Chelsea's plan for the game was. And that was not good or wise for us to do against Carlo Ancelotti's Real Madrid. And you can see the way that Real Madrid go. They even let you have the ball sometimes. They want to settle in and see how you've approached this game. We showed everything after 5 minutes. And then we get caught out, constantly caught out. And because we haven't conceded, it's deemed as a solid defensive performance. No, Real Madrid really just did not turn it on. And then when they did score, you're like, okay, and it begins. And then even then, at that point you think, maybe change the shape. Maybe go to a 3-4-3. Stick an extra man up top and maybe try and defend from the front. Because you're getting bypassed anyway. So you might as well try and defend from the front, apply some pressure, and then hope to nick the ball up top and create a chance. Because that's the only way we were going to impose a chance. The way that we had no aggressiveness, we weren't pressing at all. And I have to say, in terms of not pressing at all, at least from the front, that I would deem as probably an instruction from Frank Lampard. Because Felix and Sterling were just ball watching. They weren't running anywhere. They were just waiting here. Someone throw the ball to us, mate, we're bored. Especially Sterling. Bloody hell. Felix had a bad day because every time he got the ball, he just fluffed it. But Sterling didn't exist. And then the midfield. Enzo, for once, looked bad. Kovacic, he's doing his best not to get a new contract at this rate. Honestly. Kante, I felt bad for, because Kante was the one that would actually nick the ball off Real Madrid, end up running, there's no one to go to, and then on a few occasions, he'd then lose the ball. And you're like, well, there's no one there supporting him. You know, which is why after half-time, I would have thought about possibly going to a 3-4-3, get that extra man up top as support, and even those two front wingers that are going to assist the wing-backs to try and overlap or underlap if they feel that's the best way to get into Real Madrid's spaces. We didn't do anything. Nothing. And then defensively, moments from Fofana looked solid with Vinicius. Apart from that, though, everyone was just all over the gaff. Kepa was getting worked. In the first half, he had a good first half. To be fair, Kepa overall had a decent game, except for the second goal. That's it. That's it. And if we're going to talk about the goals, the first one, just, again, easily bypassed. Very easily bypassed. Ball moves into the space on the left-hand side. It comes across, taps it straight to, well, I think he was trying to tap it over to Benzema. It almost looks like it's a shot. Kepa goes for it, makes a save, pats it right into Benzema's path, and he slots it in 1-0. Typical. But how there's no one even on Benzema in the first place is criminal. So, which I guess in that position, you're probably looking at Koulibaly. If I'm having to guess, I would need to look back at that again. Koulibaly comes off of a hamstring. He pulls his hamstring after chasing after Rodrigo. After him making the mistake, does retrieve it, fair play, but then pulls his hamstring in the process. Gets taken off. We bring on Cucurella. It makes you wonder why Badiashile is not in this Champions League squad. It really does, man. Because later on, Cucurella is the one that causes all the damage. And then you look at what Ben Chilwell had to do, which I understand. I do want to say that there's two sides to the coin on that. Cucurella, just horrific defending. Completely clueless. No concentration, or I don't know if his head's in the clouds, or he's talking to some guy in the crowd at Madrid. He's maybe catching up on some Spanish. I don't know, right? But then he completely loses his man. Chilwell has to make the ground up for him. Chilwell then feels like he's obligated to pull the guy back and bring him down. I forgot who it was. Was it Cruz? But he pulls him back, which is an automatic red card, because he was pretty much in on goal. However, I would have rathered him go in with a challenge. Go in with your legs. There's no need to pull. Why? Because it wasn't a one-on-one situation. It's not like when Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, I forgot against who, all those years ago, had to chase back, right? I'm not sure, was it against Blackburn or someone? But he had to run all the way back and then just clamp the defender's legs. Automatic red card. He knows he's getting sent off, but it's because it was a one-on-one. You have no choice. Chilwell, I felt like, it wasn't straight one-on-one. It was on the right-hand side. Chances are, who knows, if he'd even taken the shot, maybe Kepa would have saved it. But your best bet is to just go into the challenge, because he wasn't far off. He pulled his shirt like right there in front of him. Just tackle him, go for the ball. So even on Ben Chilwell's part, I just felt like he gave up too easy. I understood what he was doing. You know, instead of going 2-0 down, screw it. I'll take one for the team and we stay at 1-0. I get that. But there were better ways to do it and possibly even avoid a red card, because we go down to 10 men and it's game over. And then at that point, we try and shift it. We go to a 5-3-1. We take off Felix and we take off Sterling because they've been completely absent up top. We bring on Havertz. And then later we bring off Thiago Silva. We bring off Kante. We put on Mason Mount and we put on Conor Gallagher after going 2-0 down to try and salvage the game. Now, for Mason Mount, he has a case. He absolutely has a case. I would have even considered bringing Mount on even if we had 11 men. Completely. Especially with the performance of Kovacic. But Gallagher, come on, man. Come on. Is there anything else to say? Overall, the club just feels like a mess. The club feels like a mess. As I've said, 2-0, it could have been 3, 4, 5. It really could have, man. Real Madrid did not look good tonight. They were moving the ball, yeah, because we were just sat back. We were scared, right? It was obvious. And they didn't capitalize. They didn't really pull, go full throttle. They weren't really ultra aggressive. They were going with emotions. They still got 2 through, The second goal, Asensio strikes from outside of the box. Defender in the way, yes, but Kepa really should, from that, just be getting a strong hand to it. He doesn't. It goes into the bottom corner. So it's that typical long shot that we were always warning about. I said it in my preview that he hasn't conceded a long shot like that in a while, except for the Wolves game, which really wasn't his fault, but he hasn't been doing it frequently. Well, now it looks like they're starting to get some consistency on it. So at least one thing is consistent. So, yeah, honestly, overall, it's just, as I've said, the whole club just feels like a mess. At the top, it feels like now I have to be honest, it just feels like we're firing shots into the sky and just hoping for the best. A scattergun approach. Lampard, albeit, I don't think carries the entire blame tonight, because there are players today that just, it's almost like they were just happy to be there. They didn't really give, but there were aspects of that game, as I mentioned, like the formation, the substitutions later on, and the lack of press or aggressiveness going forward or trying to wing the ball up the pitch from the get-go in order to prevent the bypass that Real Madrid were constantly having on our midfield. That, I turn to the manager, because the players are not going to just figure that out for themselves. But it's just a complete blend of everything. Everyone at the top, manager, players, everyone, it just feels like a mess. It really does. And the realism is going to kick in. You heard it here. The realism is going to kick in because, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, there are still people carrying blind faith, delusion. No, it's Chelsea, we're going to do it. No, that's not how it works. It's not how it works. And with that, a lot of people had their hopes on the Champions League against Real Madrid. And now we've seen this. Wait and see what happens in the second leg at the Bridge. After that, when we do get knocked out, because it's pretty evident, unless we're going to score 3 at home against Real Madrid like this, considering we still... Have you seen our fixture list? As I said, if you don't laugh, you cry. When that happens, I think realism is going to kick in to the majority of the fan base, and maybe even the football club itself, as to just what sort of situation we are actually in right now. Because it's not good at all. It's really not good. It's really not good. So yeah, that's why, if I turn back all the way to what I said at the very start, at the bare minimum, I just want a vibe. Can I get one vibe, please? Anyone? Thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts down below. Much appreciated. And I will see all of you tomorrow for a brand new video where maybe we go in and we dissect this a little more. We'll see what else pops up, what news, what latest we get on the fallout of this. And yeah, I will see all of you tomorrow. Hit the subscribe button if you are new. Hit the notification button to be notified once I've uploaded. Smash the like button if you've somewhat enjoyed this video, not the result. And I will see all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people, in a bit. Take care and peace. Also, if you do find the vibe, let me know. Cheers.